I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange.
Aloha, spooky nerds! I am Aaron Sagers, journalist, author, researcher of all things weird, and currently I can be seen on Travel Channel's Paranormal Caught On Camera, which we just wrapped our 5th season. And this is Talking Strange with Den of Geek. It's a paranormal pop culture show where we explore the entertainment of the unexplained. And let me tell you about a show that I've been definitely enjoying. I've been watching all of the episodes. Can't wait for it to come back. It is Ghosts on CBS, which airs Thursdays at 9 p.m., 8 Central, which you can watch on CBS and also on Paramount Plus. Now, what is the deal with Ghosts? Within the story, Samantha and Jay throw caution to the wind when they convert their recently inherited country estate, which is pretty run down, into a bed and breakfast. So this place is falling apart. Also happens to be haunted by spirits of previous residents. And as it happens, only Sam can see and hear these ghosts. Ghost really combines a funny, heartfelt story about this newfound dream that reveals connection, self-discovery are not just for the living. And also, it currently leads the primetime TV ratings for new shows. So it is a hit, a bona fide hit. Adapted from the British series of the same name, Ghost was developed by Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, and it stars Rose McIver from iZombie and Utkarsh and Budkar, which we most recently saw in Free Guy. So without further ado, let me bring these folks in. We've got Joe Port is with us and Joe Wiseman. Hello, gentlemen. And the stars of Ghost, Rose McIver and Utkarsh and Budkar. Oh, there he is. Hello. Hey guys.
Hello.
Thanks for joining this this little chat. I'm excited to be here with y'all. I'm gonna put myself in the middle, so I'm the thick, surrounded by the humans behind Ghosts.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Love what you've done with the place. Looks gorgeous.
I know, it's all the nice gray look that I have here. First off, actually, congratulations on leading the primetime TV ratings for new shows. Where are you guys? I know I'm catching you in production right now. You had to take a little bit of a break in December. Where are you right now? I'll throw this to the Joes. Where are we in the production process?
So we are, I believe, 4 days away from wrapping season 1. So we are all back in Montreal, and we had a day of shooting today. And like I say, we have 4 more. Yeah, back in December, we had our COVID issues, as a lot of productions are. So we had to cool down for a little while. But everyone's here, and we're hoping to get it done.
Okay. And Joe Port, let me ask you, is this a workplace comedy? Is it a family sitcom? Is it a supernatural show? It feels like there's all these different elements happening within Ghosts.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of all those things. I mean, the bed and breakfast is not yet open, so that's sort of what we're heading toward the end of the season, that Sam and Jay are trying to renovate the place and open it up, and then it'll be a true workplace comedy. But it's just sort of like I would call it a weird roommate comedy with with sort of a rom-com at the center.
All right. And
it's good
Rose
you do these,
Utkarsh.
Aaron, because every time you ask questions, we learn things as well. I'm like, great, I'm going to use exactly that tidbit in the next chat that I have. Now I have the descriptions sorted.
Little sound bites that you can take along to the next interview.
We need writers with all of our interviews. I'm telling you.
Well, let me ask you guys. From the acting perspective, you guys each have unique and similar challenges because, Rose, your character, Sam, you are pretending to see and hear things that others, the living, do not see. And Utkarsh, you're kind of staring off into the middle distance, which you're kind of pseudo interacting with something that you cannot see. So do you find that you are each relating to one another from these unique but separate challenges, or I don't know, who thinks that maybe they have the harder job going on here? Rose, why don't you start?
I mean, I'm very lucky in that I get all of the cast to play with. We have this insanely talented group, and I have 8 scene partners essentially, as well as my living scene partner Utkarsh. So I feel really spoiled that a lot of it is just kind of being an audience to these guys and being able to engage with them on that level. So it sucks for Utkarsh that he can't engage on that level.
I mean, Rose is sort of our engine, right? She keeps everything going, and she's spinning so many plates at the same time. Whereas, like you very accurately just stated, she's doing all that, and I'm sort of staring, trying to be interesting while I do it. But I have to ignore the ghosts, and Rose has to ignore me, and I think she has the hardest.
I would say though, Utkarsh, that you say that. I've heard you say that you think you stare into the middle distance, and I'm like, you fill it. Like, that's why we were so excited.
We try to be interesting while we're checked out. We try to think about.
I don't think 10 seconds could last on you without like a bazillion things happening. Yeah. You're not still. There's action, there's emotion, there's stuff.
Well, I mean, Rose, for you, it feels like sometimes, even though, yes, you are acting, but there's some of these scenes where the collection of ghosts are just shouting at you, trying to get your attention. And there's Brooklyn behind me, if you heard that horn, are shouting to get your attention. That has to be distracting, even as an actor just trying to deliver lines.
I think it's just like being on a film set. It's sort of, it feels like that, where there's, you are trying to service a whole lot of different people and things. And it's something that I actually enjoy about the job, is it's sort of about like how you listen to an enormous group of people and try to give what you can to the various people. It just felt like a lot of parallels to me in some ways. It's sort of trying to spin plates and keep everybody feeling heard and tended to. So I enjoy that. I mean, it's a really rewarding character to be able to step into. Obviously, there's plenty to occupy her mind.
Yeah. Utkarsh, it seems like this could be an exceptionally difficult show to, blocking on this show has to be exceptionally difficult because you can't really physically interact with the other ghosts that are surrounding you. Is that a challenge at times to not physically interact with these ghosts?
Well, I mean, yeah, just from a technical standpoint, anybody who has been a huge fan has already pointed out the times when my finger has gently brushed someone's dress, or, we got a lot of people in a small space. So that has created some issues. And then just from an acting perspective, we were talking about it today on another panel for SAG. They're just so funny. Our ensemble is so bright and vibrant, and it's very hard to ignore them. It's hard not to really want to engage and laugh and be entertained by them. And when they're really firing, which of late we've all been really firing on all cylinders, it's tough. It's hard to pretend they're not there because they're just they're so good at their jobs. But technically speaking, yeah.
That becomes the rush, hey? That's like, we see that people are not, as you were talking about earlier, people can sense that their jokes are landing and that the work is translating when they get us to crack. So you can kind of see people working extra hard to engage and push things when they can see they're working. And I think it's like part of what kind of brings that magic all together.
Mm-hmm. But the Joes have a very difficult job of defining the mythology of this world, right? Like, what surfaces can we sit on? What surfaces can they walk through? Why don't they fall through the floor? Like, there are so many ghost rules.
And how do you service 10 characters? And it's an incredible art to deftly weave through everybody's stories. And just when you're ready to, you're really missing a character, they pop back in. I don't know. Talk about spinning plates. These guys are spinning.
And the counter to that, though, is that we have this giant grist pile to, for the mill. There's so many directions to go and everything. And like they were saying, everyone in the cast is just incredible, and we have so many different directions to go because of that as well. But you said it, but both Rose and Utkarsh just have uniquely difficult and cool jobs. Like one can see them all, one can't see them, and so both of them are just so adept at what they're doing. One of my favorite things is Utkarsh, after almost every guest cast who comes in, and he's like, they were amazing, we got to have them back. And I'm like, is that because you can talk to them? And he's like, yeah. So one of the challenge on the writing side as well is to sure that his character is involved. And, I think part of that is a challenge, but part of that also is a story-tunity to sort of come up with ways. And I think that's led to a couple of really nice episodes, like the one where Hetty possesses his body.
Totally.
And
I love the one where we get to meet Jay's sister. Like, it makes me so happy to see his world, to see where he's from, what Sam's trying to integrate with. Like, I thought it provided tons of great opportunities and obviously great dynamics with the ghosts as well. So she was awesome.
Well, let me back up just a little bit. It's, there's the old expression that if you have to explain a joke, it's no longer funny. And yet you kind of have this rules to this universe. Did you start out with sort of the jokes of the ghosts, the, not having pants, the, that kind of thing, and then build out the rules of this universe? Or did you start with the rules and then create the ghosts from there? And I realize also some of these were adapted from the ghost that existed in the British version, but which came first? Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I some of it was born out of the British show, and that was like a launching off point, obviously. But we have, in some rules of their show, we honor, and then other ones we deviate from. And some I have been told that we deviated from that. I didn't even realize that they didn't have a similar rule. But like, mostly it comes from us asking questions in the writer's room, basically things that we'd like to know, like, do ghosts have sex? And if so, from that comes a conversation, and then comes a bunch of rules that we have to figure out what that means. And then that usually ends up in the show because it's just interesting to us. And it's just something that, like, we think that the ghosts would some things that Sam and Jay in particular would want to know about the ghosts that he can't see. He's very interested in learning all about them.
And welcome back, Utkarsh. I thought you actually did ghost us. And...
Oh man, I tried. I really did. No, the hotel that we're staying in just randomly logs me out of the internet every night. You get it. Just was like, nah, bro, you're having too much fun.
One thing I do love is the conspiracy theory stuff that Jay gets into, like his very detailed, obsessive thinking that we get to see pop out in these amazing moments. Because in my mind, with Sam being a type A lazier writer could have given her all of the obsessive tendencies and all of the qualities that I like seeing, the contradictions that come up where she's the one to talk Jay off a ledge on occasion as well. And we get to see these real strengths and weaknesses in them as a couple, and we root for them as a couple, which is pretty incredible given what she's asked him to do and the dynamic. I think it's a really awesome thing that we've been able to hopefully between us and being friends in real life, and I know his wife, and it's been able to feed actually translating as a couple that we really do want to work out.
Yeah. Well, something that I really applaud about Jay's character is that it would be so easy to just be the non-believer throughout the course of, even if it was just the first season, except Jay seems to come along pretty quickly. And then because he's a nerd, he has this reference guide that he can pull from. Like, this is, hey, look, once you start messing with the space-time continuum or the ghost time continuum, you're really you risk screwing things up. Utkarsh, I want to kind of get your reaction on that about being the nerd and why that's kind of cool that you came along pretty quickly. And then also, Joe Wiseman, speak to why you made that choice.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Well, I mean, look, it's a love story. They said it's a rom-com. And if Jay doesn't believe Sam, then we don't have a show, right? This is his wife and he wants her to be well. And also, yeah, he has a vast knowledge of everything involved here, whether it be Dungeons and Dragons, G.I. Joe, the occult, the Marvel universe, not so much DC because they've really been slacking of late. We hope Flashpoint will be better, but who knows? But I think Jay really buys in, and what's fun is he's really your window as an audience into what is the hell is going on, and all of the questions you might have as an audience, those are the same questions he has, and he's excited by it. You know, whether it's whether ghosts can be intimate with one another, or and how that works, or you know, just all the rules. We have a great episode tonight where we meet a new character. We meet Hetty's husband, played by Matt Walsh, who's just an OG of the comedy world. And he's stuck in a vault. And there's some rules around the physical nature of this vault and the ghosts' bodies that Jay's fascinated by. So in this way, like, the Joes get to sort of address all of the questions. Like, hey, man, and in terms of his belief in Sam, that's just love, man. That's just unconditional love. It's just what we all wish our partners would give us deep down inside. So
yeah, Jay's getting some major props for being like the dream husband, which is fair. I mean, he really does sign up for a lot.
He's like,
he does. But like Joe Wiseman, so often these characters kind of push that point of skepticism, and they are the questioning part. It to a frustrating degree at times. Talk a little bit about bringing Jay on board kind of quickly.
Well, I think Utkarsh hit it on the head when he said excited. Like, we thought it would be more fun if his character was excited for this and almost kind of jealous even. Like in a way, it's sort of like, this should have happened to me because I have all these questions about like the supernatural and all these things because of these shows I like. So I think Joe and I early on just decided that would be a more fun color to play than someone who's always sort of like put upon and like, I don't know, is it those, you know, it was just sort of like, it just seemed more entertaining to us.
And some people are like that. I feel like Devan Long, who plays Thorfinn in our show, if his wife told him she saw ghosts, he'd be like, great, tell me more. I want to know everything. Like he already has so many experiences. You know, I don't think, I think some people can suspend that a lot easier than others.
Yeah, Devin would be like, are they hungry? Do they need something to eat?
Are they keto?
Yeah, are they keto?
Do you what I love about this so far is that the fan base is really getting caught up in the mystery of these ghosts' death, and such as the what's up with Trevor's pants. And Rebecca Wisocky, who plays Hetty, she said in another interview that we do learn a little bit about the mystery of the pants. So what can you guys tell us about the pants, the trousers mystery, and are there other backstories and ghost mysteries yet to be revealed?
Well, in an incredible plot twist, we learn that he never wore pants, Aaron. It just never happened.
Actually,
that's like the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
That's the one.
That was sort of an interesting, you know, the fan base and the cast is very interactive on social media, and I really enjoy reading it and reading the back and forth. And one thing that just kept coming up, everybody would ask, and in real life when I see people, just like, what happened to Trevor's pants? It's like the number one question I get. So you know, it's a little example of like that sort of guiding. We're always looking for episode ideas, so we're like, well, let's have fun. Let's sit down. Let's talk to the writers for 2-3 days. Let's figure this out. And
we did figure it out. He froze dramatically.
Pick it up, Wiseman. Pick it up.
And we think it's we don't want to give any spoilers. That'll be coming down the pike. But I turned into a really fun episode that not only like I hope answered the question in a fun way, but also provides a little bit of insight into Trevor's character and learning a little something surprising about him as well. But yeah, like Joe said, that was a thing that also we were wondering from us and the writers and from the very beginning, we're sort of like, what happened?
Also, Aaron, can you imagine in a cast of 10 regulars how many ideas they get pitched by us all the time? The poor guys, I'm sure they have us all on mute. We're just like, what about this? And we all think we've like reinvented the wheel every time we suggest something too. And they're very good at being like, oh yeah, sometimes they'll use them.
No, we love all that stuff.
It's so incorporative, if that's a word.
Sure.
Check with my writer buddy. Is it incorporative?
Yeah, incorporative. I think that's the word. But you know what's nice about the way that the Joes and their writing team, our writing team, does these stories that I think have made them really successful and resonate with fans, is you have this fantastical element, you have the paranormal, you have the spooky and the goofy, but in every episode, including one about how a character lost his pants, you have something very touching and heartfelt. The reason Trevor lost his pants, I'm sure, is going to surprise a lot of people and be very endearing to a lot of our audience who loves that character. In the same way that Roman's character, Sasapi's, when we delve into his backstory, we're really touched by the humanness that these ghosts possess, right? Pete's gets to see his grandson. Alberta finds out that she has a fan, a weird fan, but like she is remembered and loved. And I think that's what this show, especially during this time when there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of people have really been struggling, a lot of people can just come to our show, have fun, laugh, and also be moved emotionally, feel some catharsis and some relief. And these guys have done that really well.
I like that you referenced Sasapis because I forget which episode it is, maybe the Halloween episode. He jokes that he's not Lenape. He was actually an accountant that died at a Halloween party in the 90s or something. I totally love that, but it also makes my brain go into overdrive and I start freaking out about, what if I go in this? I mean, the idea that wherever I'm at, wherever I am, and whatever I'm wearing, when I shuffle off this mortal coil, boom, that could be it. This is what I'm stuck in. Has this given you any pause about the outfits and locations that you're spending time in? Because you never know. You never know. Rose, why don't you begin?
I think it's always important to wear clean underwear. That is my big thing. I always think I'm not thinking so much about being a ghost afterwards. It's just like paramedics discovering you. I'm like, just there's a certain level of expectation that I think we can meet on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a very overdressed person. I think I get dressed up for work quite a bit. So in my own life, I think it would be a shambles if I'd be in like sweats with my hair scraped back. Very disappointing. Very
comfy though. That is a comfy afterlife.
I think if Brandon Scott Jones has taught us anything, if Isaac's character, who's in full woolen garb from head to toe, it's definitely go out wearing some sort of elastic waistband and some sort of loose fitting top and you'll be happy. Like Alberta's got the best afterlife outfit. Good. That thing is covered in velvet. She's warm or cold.
Still chic.
Yeah. She looks good and she's comfy. You know what? I'm just gonna start wearing that in my personal life.
Well, the cast is living what you're talking about, this sort of having to wear the same thing over and over again. That was when we sort of coming up with the characters and what they were wearing, and then the costume designers. It was sort of like this in the pilot. It was like, we have to get this right because hopefully they'll be wearing these, for years and years to come. And there is the sort of like the weak point of comfort in all of the costumes, I think, have sort of like started to poke themselves out. Like you mentioned, Brandon Scott Jones, who like in the summer when we're shooting on location, it was sort of just like always overheating. And now that it's very cold outside, we don't go outside because one of our actors can't put on pants. Another one's wearing a summer dress. And I think Brandon's kind of like, oh, no, you can't go. Can't win. But yeah, it was a lot of pressure to make sure we got those right.
But those are the decisions that get made. I mean, we have an incredible team of designers and people who work on that. But it's so interesting when you shoot a pilot, things are decided on like that. And then the commitment is made for a very long time. And I remember after iZombie, where I wore a white wig in the pilot, we made that decision in an hour between I was on another project and we were like, great, let's do this. I was in that white wig for 5 years. So it is, I just find that so fascinating, the pilot to series, the impulse with which you have to kind of work at the start and then the commitment that follows on from that.
Yeah, it's a cool idea that you then live with. Sorry, Jeff.
No, I'm just saying it because you never have as much time as you want to sort of ruminate on it and stuff. So
in as much as you can say within this world, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but look, ghosts are real, and they've watched Ghostbusters. Are there Ghostbusters in this world, within the Ghosts universe? Are they there?
Yes, we have Bill Murray coming. We
That's a good booking.
We've
Dan
left a
Aykroyd.
message on his service, so he's going to show up at some point.
Mhm. We got Aykroyd at the Sagnamum. He's coming through. And then, of course, we're going to have some aliens, as I always say. Don't you
But-
worry, Aaron.
But truly, I mean, this does open the door to being sort of the paranormal investigators that look for these things. Wiseman, you're shaking, you're nodding your head.
So we don't necessarily have any stories that tackle that right now, but it is something that's been discussed. And I would say that anything that sort of exists in the real world, as far as people actually being Ghostbusters or claiming to be, is definitely something that I think we will mine at some point.
Yeah, and also, interestingly, at the end of the Jay's Sister episode with Poonam Patel, who was so great, that was the first time when Sam shared her secret with someone other than Jay. So, it's fun to sort of set up these little things to then lead to other things later. And, now this secret is outside the tiny circle of trust that we had. So, it opens itself up to discovery.
And I'm going to pitch in front of you, Aaron, because that will make this legally binding. The idea that somebody, I can't remember which cast member came up with, but that Jay's sister comes and moves in for a stretch of time, and she's living in the spare room as a Peloton instructor. And we find out that the one thing that the ghosts can physically move is a Peloton bike, and they're all fighting.
Well, you better get in there.
Second season, watch out.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
And better get in there fast, because Peloton just announced that they're ceasing operation, or stopping manufacture of new bikes. So in a way, it's a ghost exercise machine
My
for the
ideas
ghost.
did.
Yeah.
Well, we did see a Peloton kill someone, so it only makes sense that we would see.
Oh, yeah, in more ways than one.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Do you? I really enjoy these cholera patients and people who've died in the cellar, and this notion that what we think are maybe scary ghosts are just misunderstood and quite knowledgeable about plumbing. Do we have legitimately bad or scary ghosts within this world? People, ghosts that they want to freak out the living. They want to do harm.
I think
Absolutely.
I think we meet one tonight on tonight's episode. We have what is the word? I can never say it.
Malevolent?
Malevolent, a bad guy. And the way that the episode ends is so fun. And then we also meet Odessa. You guys want to talk about Odessa?
Please, yeah, tell me.
Wait,
This is a real spoiler, isn't it, guys? Yeah. Tell us about
In an upcoming episode, Odessa Azayan, we discovered it's not a discovery to the ghosts, but it's a discovery to Jay and Sam that this young girl that got killed on her prom night in 1987 is a ghost that lives in the attic, and she's roused from her slumber. Because she's a teen ghost, she tends to sleep a lot. So basically, she sleeps for months on end, and so they haven't seen her yet. But she's roused when Jay goes up to the attic to get some stuff from storage and makes a lot of commotion. And then so she comes down, and she's a bit of a adversary for Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like the young, new, cool kid on campus.
Yeah.
who Sam is so desperate to be liked by.
Yeah, that's what I love about Sam is like she's constantly trying to be the mother essentially to all these ghosts and take care of everyone's needs. But really, she just wants Jay's sister to call her a sister. She just wants like everyone. She's just very sweet. It's nice, and I think it's a great dynamic to see her be so strong and forceful and overwhelmed, but then just deeply want to be loved at the same time.
Well, I think that's what makes her very accessible. I think that's what I like, is that she is this person who's overbearing and overwhelming, but when you know that she's doing it with this desperate need to be approved of and to be loved, it's like again, every time we see those opportunities in the script that comes up, it's just, as an actor, it's a field day to be like, great, I get it, I get her, I know what she's doing. Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't want to inject too much pathos into this show, but there is something about watching Jay and Sam. They're kind of figuring out where they are in lives and who they are and what it's like to be an adult. And then in this next stage of life. And meanwhile, we have these ghosts that kind of say, hey, guess what? Even in your afterlife, you haven't figured out life. And it's interesting, sometimes a bummer, depending on how you look at that notion. But am I hitting on something there?
Yeah, for sure. One of the ways we sort of conceived of the show too is like the livings and the ghosts sort of help each other, because they all have sort of different perspectives based on lives lived and lives wanting to live. And for sure, the ghosts, a lot of them are centuries old and have have seen it all and have seen people. So they sort of can offer a perspective to this young couple that's sort of coming up. And the opposite of that is, that Sam and Jay can sort of like help them with sort of intractable roommate issues that have sort of come up over the centuries and other things, even if it's just as simple as being able to find information for them or whatnot. So we always pictured it as like the two sides help each other and help each other grow and help each other become better.
Even when I read the pilot, I remember the big standout to me was just that, like, in a show about accommodation, about a B&B, it's about accommodating, and it's about accommodating each other. It's about the fact that not everybody is going to think like you. Not everybody is going to feel like you. There is something valuable to be ascertained if you listen to everybody. And that, I love the moments where characters that might have less progressive or less developed kind of ethos in some ways are able to bring something really constructive and useful to another area in life. And I just think it's a nice mirror to be holding up in the world right now, obviously.
You should just wait till Thor goes to therapy. That's like a Viking sitting in therapy, using the modern tools of our day to get through his trauma. And you can imagine, as a Viking, he's got a lot of it. Dude, I sell the shit out of this show. Are you kidding me? What a plug. Oh my God.
It is. Look, it comes across. The living have breathed new life into the dead. It comes across. I am not going to ask you, because I know this is journalist sort of boilerplate to say, do you believe in ghosts? I'm not going to ask you that. I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to ask,
asking us who's our favorite, which is the other one.
Who's your favorite? Well, that was going to be the fault. Now this is awkward. That was going to be fault. No, I'm actually just curious. Is like not so much if you believe in ghosts, but like when you were kids, was there like that creepy old house down the lane, sort of like this manor that was known throughout your neighborhood as being the haunted spot, the place you don't go near because old man Jenkins or whatever haunts the place, or whatever it is? Did you have any of those urban legend level haunted houses in your neighborhood?
Well, I grew up in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and 2 blocks from my house was this Gilded Age mansion called Baker Mansion that was on this hill with these Roman columns. And it's crazy that it's just in this regular, normal neighborhood. And that's where Joe and I got the names Hetty and Elias. Elias is played by Matt Walsh in tonight's episode, and is the husband of Rebecca Wisocki's Hetty character. And so basically, he was like the bakers in Altoona were like, from that age and just build this gaudy house. And it's not the characters are not based on Hetty and Elias Baker, but it was an inspiration just growing up down the street from that, and it I had a lot of interest in that time period.
Clearly made a mark. Yeah. How about the rest of you guys?
I can't think of any place that was haunted as a child, except for maybe the laundry room. There was like the laundry room in the basement, and I was not going near that. But that's not. I'm pretty sure I was the only one. That was not like a community-wide fear.
Oh, that happens to Sam, dude. Like, have you seen this show? It can be just one person who experiences it. That's the whole premise, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe you were tuned in.
I certainly hope not. I hope there was not anything down there.
You were like little Haley Joel Osment when you were a kid. Joe Wiseman or Rose, any locations like from your upbringing that were known to be the creepy haunted place?
I don't know of any in my area. I did in college. I actually had like a ghost experience. It's a whole long story. I won't get into it. But ultimately, I've discovered years later that basically what it is, I suffer from sleep paralysis, which is sort of a condition. I'm not saying ghosts aren't real or not, but I think it actually clinically explained everything that was happening to me. But it's a sort of this phenomena that they think explain a lot of it. And so, but I didn't know about that. So for years, I thought I was having these experiences that were really kind of freaking me out because they're actually happening to you. So yes, my apartment in Boulder, Colorado, when I was a sophomore in college was very haunted.
That's totally traumatic.
That's terrifying.
It was very traumatic because I thought I thought I was insane, and I was like, I didn't want to tell anyone because it was like.
I'm so sorry, Joe. Is this the first time you've talked about it?
I mean, with you guys, but no, I've told Joe Port's probably rolling his eyes.
No.
Hey, man.
I didn't have any haunted houses around my place, but I do feel like I feel really strong vibes in a place that I go into. I know if it's somewhere that I want to be or I don't want to be. And my parents' house is like, it's a super loaded vibe. It's my childhood home. They still live in it. I love it to death, but it's like there's a lot of land in New Zealand that's considered tapu or sacred. And you have to have it blessed if you plan on selling it or doing anything. And we're very close to the site of like big burial grounds. And it's always felt very kind of something that commands my attention, just like the vibe of the house.
Yeah. I don't know how you can go to New Zealand and not feel like connected to just something old and deep there. But Joe Wiseman, I have to say, just as an aside, that is terrifying, especially because every culture has tried to explain some version of sleep paralysis, whether it's old hag syndrome or whatever it might be. And the really spooky thing about it is we have an idea about what's going on with our brain when it happens, but there's still mystery behind exactly why it is happening.
Yep, 100%. And there are some weird, even though now I'm sort of like, oh, with sleep paralysis, there are some things that are really weird about it. The short version is like basically, I would have different specific ghosts visiting me. I thought were ghosts, but sleep paralysis, but they were specific to the location. So for instance, when I lived in this apartment in Boulder, Colorado, it was this like 14-year-old girl who claimed to have been murdered, who just wanted to live again and wanted to needed permission to enter my body. But like, there was a sense of like, here's that word I can't say, malevolence. And I finally asked her to stop coming. She did, and then later I moved to California. There was like this little gnome who would come. So like the hallucinations or whatever they were very specific to the location, which is a very sort of like, why would that be? So there are, even though I'm sort of like, oh yeah, no, I think it's a neurological thing, and it has.
There's one that's decidedly scarier than the other. One's, I mean, I'm not to belittle your experience, but one's a gnome and one's.
Oh yeah, no, the girl was the creepiest thing in the world.
That's terrifying.
Awful.
Gnomes are terrifying, Rose.
Yes, tonight, guys.
It's very thing about the gnome. The gnome was then actually when I discovered the internet was sort of new at this point. Like I was, I somehow came upon the sleep paralysis, and I tell you, when I read it, it was just such a like, oh my God, yes, this is what's happening and everything. And they sort of gave you advice on like, if you're having an episode, try to basically just concentrate on moving your finger. And once you do that, then suddenly you can, because you're paralyzed. And then suddenly and so I remember there was this fucking gnome. Sorry, I don't know if we can swear. Like lived in the closet in my apartment, and it would come out and mess with me. And I was paralyzed, couldn't do anything. And then I figured, and doing all this, I figured out this thing. And so it came out, and it was like coming up my bed, and I sort of like, move your finger, and I moved my finger, and I sat up, and I grabbed him, and I remember snapping his arm, and he like dissolved in my hands, and then I never saw him again, even though like I still like, it was like in that apartment, I like got rid of him weird, like it was, so it's like, it's just weird stuff like that. Like,
Port, is this a normal thing that you've heard lots? Like, is this?
I have heard this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, within folklore, first off, you can swear when it comes to gnomes and trolls and whatnot, because they're typically not the nicest beings within folklore. They're not nice entities. They're not just protecting your garden. They can be nasty little buggers. So
this guy wasn't hiding it. He was basically
Yeah.
with you. You can't do anything and all this stuff. And
Oh,
the girl ghost pretended to be nice. She was like, just please, I just want to be alive again. And it was just sort of like, but like everything screamed like, do not to do. It was like, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Wise Men, you and I, you let me know. We're doing a spinoff on Travel Channel.
Oh,
you
gosh,
call me.
Okay.
go back to revisit those sites.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. That's amazing. Oh my God, that'd be so weird.
that is legitimately crazy.
Can we induce sleep paralysis? Because if we could, that would be very interesting.
We could actually film his sleep paralysis, which seems very malevolent in of itself to do, but
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had like a pleasant. I'm trying to think if I had pleasant people that would visit me.
Well,
But
you just volunteered, bro. We just sold the show. Now what are we gonna do? We got
this is happening now. Well, let me, before, as we wrap things up, I am curious. Before, like, let's say early 2000s, nobody really wanted to talk about it if they had a restaurant or a B&B or hotel that was haunted. It was sort of, taboo. You just don't really talk about it. And then with the rise of, reality TV shows, paranormal reality TV shows, it became good for business. Ghosts were good for business. You sell the room with a boo. So do you, if you guys were to, I'm curious, but you can use that. If you were going to open a B&B and you knew that it was haunted, would you be promoting the ghosts as part of the business model or trying to shy away from it? And I guess what I'm really getting to is are our characters going to be leaning into this or not? So you personally, and then what about Jay and Sam?
I think Nathan For You did a whole episode on this. Did anyone see that? About marketing a haunted space. It was very good. Very good. So that idea's gone.
Okay.
No, I think I would definitely lean into it.
I think that's an interesting discussion for them to have. That sounds like a good episode.
That's something, the first season is sort of like heading towards them opening up the B&B at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sort of, a very interesting thing that they could deal with and discuss and debate and have fun with in a season 2 for sure.
Would you sell it? Would you use them as your marketing materials? Come stay at the haunted spot. Yeah, bait.
Seems like a good, yeah. Why not? Seems fun.
I think I'd shut it down, guys. I think I'd shut it down, close the doors, invite a shaman in, and try and cleanse the space. I think I really would, because those guys, like in a real world, right? They want to ascend. This poor Viking's been stuck there for how many hundreds, thousands of years? Let's get him out of there. Let's get him back with his family. I think I would for sure I would try my best to send those guys off. But then we got to make money. These are tough choices to make.
It's
We've
a
got to get out of
conundrum.
the Excel spreadsheet, work out some risk analysis. Yeah.
You know what we do? We should probably see which ghost pulls in the most money. Who, like, you know what I mean?
Which against each other, really. Yeah.
Because probably the one that doesn't wear pants, you can send him off on his way. No one's super interested in that.
Jay's been angling for that for a while anyway.
No. Maybe if we find a way to get him pants, then he can stay.
Okay.
Although if you would do it based more on who wants to stick around, I think Trevor would probably be the one that would want to stick around, right? Because he seems like he's on the voyeur side, so he would probably dig sticking around as the resident ghost as long as he could kind of check everything out.
Side.
He's also kind of the strongest ghost. He's the only one with the ability to touch and manipulate the outside world to his whim, which we saw last week with Jay's sister, right? Like he could easily have a Netflix account if he wanted.
Also good for business, moving stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's true. Okay, we can
pull his weight.
We'll keep Trevor.
And are people coming up to you guys, Rose and Ukar, are they coming up and sharing now their own paranormal experiences? Has this show, working on this show, opened the floodgates for people wanting to talk about their own ghost stories?
Maybe it will, but at the moment we're all walking around like this, so nobody ever knows anyway. But I think it'll be definitely a conversation starter at conventions and things. I'm excited to hear people's stories. I'm fascinated by ghost stories. I haven't had an experience myself, but I could listen to them all day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love that too. Right now, it's -8 degrees in Montreal, and people are just coming up like, "Oh, it's cold as shit." That's pretty much it. We keep walking.
They don't care if we're on a show.
And final question, just what are you guys most excited about for when the show comes back with new episodes? What are you excited for the audience to see? I'll go down the line. Joe Wiseman.
Oh, well, I'm gonna cheat and say it's like I'm excited for them to find out what happened to Trevor's pants. I think they'll be really happy with that episode.
The mystery of Trevor's pants. Okay, Joe Port.
I'm excited for people to see the finale that we're filming right now, and just how that's going to launch into a second season.
Okay, Ukar Shambukar.
Yeah, I think you're going to learn a lot more about Sasapis and Thorfinn. We can deep dive on Trevor. Just the ghosts get a real chance to shine on the back half of the season. And then prom was really sweet too. I really enjoyed that. That was fun.
All right, and Rose.
I'm excited. Flowers, free love. We start to kind of get to enjoy some potential dynamics that come up. So I'm really looking forward to people seeing that. Sheila is just a brilliant actor, and I think we're going to really be able to tap into some of the magic of Flower in these coming episodes.
All right, well, I'm excited to see it. Ghost airs on CBS Thursdays at 9/8 Central, and you can catch up on episodes on Paramount Plus. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was just a heck of a lot of fun. Rose McIver, Ukar Shambukar, and Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, thank you guys for your time. And hey, stay spooky.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really nice talking with you.
See ya. Thanks.